it's Melissa and I'm so happy to be back with the Scrappery today. So today I am making a layout with these two pieces of paper. I love this paper and it inspired my last layout, but today I actually wanted to use some of it. So I'm just tearing it so that you can see the white core of the paper, and then I want to use that beautiful scripted font paper as my background. And my intention is to drip watercolours in the same colours as um, those stripes onto that background paper. So I'm just adhering it with some double-sided tape because I want to put my drips underneath the paper, the top paper, so that they will run down, and then I'll come back in and stitch down the edge. So I've got my watercolours and I need to do a bit of mixing to get the colours right. These watercolours are from Close to My Heart and are very vibrant, and the colours in the More Than Words collection is not so vibrant, it's more pastel. And I'm not really used to working with pastel colours, but I have to admit I absolutely love this kit. So I'm just going to show you a couple of the colours that I do. So that's how I did it. I mixed the colour I wanted and then added lots of water to it to make it run. And this is nothing new, it's been done by lots of people before, and I think Wilna Furstenberg was the first one that I saw do it. But when I looked at the striped paper, that's immediately what I thought, was to extend those colours down onto another paper. I did think about using white cardstock, but I just love how it looks over that scripty font. So I stitched it down and I've used a really thick thread. And that is a cut file from Paige Evans. I can't remember the name of it, but it's from the Silhouette store. I'll link it below. And my intention is to use it like a doily. So there are lots of things you could do with that cut file. You could cut it bigger, you could back it, you could watercolor it, and I'm going to use it again, but for this layout, because I've already got so much going on with my colour dripping down the page, I just wanted to use it like you would with a doily, quite subtle in the background, but still have enough of it showing. Especially I wanted it to look like a heart and of course have the floral part show. So I asked Brielle, I showed her the background and I showed her the doily, or the cut file, and I asked her what photos she wanted, and I gave her the option of these two, which is her, she started ballet this year and it was part of her reward for toilet training, and then part of ballet was getting the costume or the leotard, and so this is us in the shop buying the leotard, and she was so excited, and so I'm so glad I got these photos. They are not perfect photos. One of her coming out of the changing room is a little bit blurry because she's moving, and the other one is like a quick snap while she's staying still. So she just turned 4 in April, on the 15th, and so yeah, she's just so happy to be doing ballet now. So with this cut file, I have put double-sided tape on the solid part of the heart, and then I'm using the Close to My Heart mini dimensionals all over this more floral lattice kind of pattern. And the reason I'm doing that is because I just want to have some dimension, otherwise this layout would be quite flat. So I've used the flat double-sided tape on the solid part because that's where my photos are going to go, and then the other side will be lifted up. So I don't make you sit through me removing all the backing, but yeah, that's how it's looking, and I'm loving how this is turning out. So those two pieces are from the chipboard sheet, and I knew I wanted to incorporate the word precious. Now I have added some liquid adhesive onto this as well, because the last layout I made, I just used double-sided tape and it actually fell off my layout, so this will make sure it doesn't. So I was about to glue that banner down, but then I thought I'll have a look at these die cut pieces that I pulled from the ephemera pack and just see what's going to work. I did struggle a little bit with embellishing this layout, I think because I wanted to not cover up too much of that heart. And I also didn't want to go too full on because that background really is the feature of this layout, of course, aside from the photos. So I've just gone with some florals, and I've adhered them flat and then with the leaves, not on this one. In this one I lift the leaf up over the top of that banner, I think. No, I lift the top leaf, but the other florals I will add some dimension with my dimensionals. That's what I'm trying to say. So that little sticker I had tried to use for my last layout, and it lost its stickiness because I didn't use it, so I had to just adhere it with some glue. It says So Much Happy, and there I am just adding those dimensionals behind the leaves on those flowers. So I had this little more solid piece with, it's a journaling spot, and so I think it looks really sweet just tucked under there. And I mean, the story is not that, there's not much to say really other than what I've just told you, so I just wrote down that about how excited she was to finally get her leotard. Yeah, and I haven't put the date on this layout yet. I actually need to go back and find the date of these photos and put that on. And then I did, I cut it out, but I did play around a lot with the placement of my title because I just wasn't really sure. But I like how it looks under there. And then, what does it say? Little moments, precious little moments. And I popped that up on dimensionals as well. And then I decided that it needed a third floral element. And I thought it looked good just up there. And then I added a little chipboard heart as well. So it's coming together a lot easier now. These are the pretty little pieces, and in there was this little plastic bow that I thought was really sweet. She wanted a bow on this. She had seen me playing with the Maggie Holmes carousel bows, and she wanted that on this, but that was black and white and would have been just too much. So I will have to make her another layout with that bow on it. But I thought this was a good compromise, this little sweet little plastic bow. So I've just used a glue dot, and I'm hoping that's going to hold it. And then with these flare badges, you do want to add some liquid adhesive onto the pop dot that's on the back of them as well, because it won't hold on its own. These are the enamel shapes and dots, hearts and dots, and I had just opened them. I hadn't used them on my last two layouts, so I was glad to finally get them onto this layout. And then the only other thing I did was add some black splatters. I wanted quite big splatters, and I was happy with the way they came out because, as you know, it's pretty random when you add splatters. I thought I was done, but then I thought, no, I'm going to add some of these Kaisercraft silver gems. I think they add a nice finishing touch, just scattered through those black colour shine splatters. So that is my final layout. I had an absolute blast making this one. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and Brielle just loved it when she saw it. So I hope I've inspired you to get into your Olivia kits, and I'd love to see what you create in the member forum on Facebook. So thanks so much for watching.